All right, today we've come way out to the very back of our field here, and I wanted to show you guys that we planted a long line of Green Giant Arborvitaes, 1,016 feet long, and there's 133 Green Giants, and you can see them lined up. Now, we planted these early in the summer last year, and the summer was absolutely brutal as far as the temperatures went. These grew virtually none last year, and all we were able to do was just keep them alive. So I wanted to show you why we did this, what we're going to do with these trees, and that there's multiple good purposes for doing it. And guys, you know my affinity for all things Green Giants, and I can't wait to share this with you today. Now, if you're not familiar with Green Giants, the Green Giant Arborvitae is typically grown as a screening tree. People buy lots of these together and they put them in a line, put them in a row, and these things grow to be 25, 30, 40 feet even in height, and they grow together and make a solid wall to screen out a busy road, to screen out a neighbor, to define a property line, that type of thing. And ever since I've started doing a nursery in my backyard, the Green Giants have been a critical part of my nursery. And I've sold many, probably 3,000 or more of these Green Giants from a very, very small nursery. And it's a big part of what we're going to be doing here as well. Now, there are at least a couple of reasons why I decided to do this, because this was a lot of work and it's been a lot of maintenance trying to keep these things alive during this first year of their life in the ground. But two things that I wanted to do. Number one, I wanted really an infinite number of Green Giant cuttings available to me. So however many Green Giant cuttings I'm ever going to want, I'm going to be able to have and take from these trees. The second thing is I've got 4 or 5 neighbors that are on this particular side of our property line, and they didn't ask to have a nursery in their backyard, and they didn't ask to have neighbors in their backyard. And I think this is going to be a great help to them to not have to constantly be seeing us and into what we're doing, and that kind of goes both ways. So it'll take some time for these to get up tall enough, especially with me clipping on them to get clippings, but I'm not taking any cuttings from these anytime soon. For now, we're just going to let these things grow and get bigger, and what I'm hoping to see is come springtime that these things really start to put on a few inches of growth, and by next year they'll really start growing fast. To give you some idea of how tall these are right now, this one here, for example, is about 30 to 32 inches tall, and it's probably a little bit bigger on average than the ones further down the line, and that's just, I probably planted some bigger ones first. I really don't know, but these didn't put on any growth in the last year to speak of at all. This one's about the same, I think. Yeah, it's about 30, 31 inches tall. And then we get up here, and these two look like they actually put on a few inches of growth last year, and this one is more like 38 inches tall, but these are the exception. Most of them didn't put on any growth, but I'm wanting to measure these and show you how tall they are, because in a year's time, when they've been able to have another season in the ground, I want to come back and measure them again and kind of keep track with how quickly they're actually growing. So what they say about Green Giants is the first year you plant them, they sleep. The second year you plant them, they creep. And the third year, they leap. So we'll see if that happens with these or not. If that's the case, then these should put on some growth this year, but we'll just keep an eye on it. And now back down here on the far end of the line again, there's along the way out of the 130 something, there are probably about 6 or 8 of them that are dead right now. So there's an example of one right there. You can just see that it's brown. There's another one right here. You know, I don't know why they die. Who knows? Maybe too much water. Definitely not that. Maybe too little water. Sometimes trees just die and you don't really ever know why, but it's not really that big of a problem because I know a guy who's got plenty and I can get plenty to replace them. So we got these couple of dead ones here, and I'm just going to replace them. And look, it's as simple as just popping this one up, and it's not well rooted at all. So just kind of loosen it up and pull it up and shake it off. Is pretty simple, but that's what it would have looked like when I planted it. I planted a lot of these, most of these, just bare root in the ground just like that. So these two that I'm going to replace here, they're going to be potted instead of bare root, so they'll be a little different. And when you put these in the ground, like with any plant, you know, sometimes there's a temptation to just see how deep you can plant something. Like you think that makes deeper roots or whatever. That is just not the case. Don't ever plant the top of that root ball right there below the grade of your existing ground. If not, plant it a 1/2 inch above, rake your loose soil in around it, and it will do what it does. If it's a deep rooting plant, it will root deeply. Arborvitaes have pretty shallow roots anyway, so you're not going to do yourself any favors by seeing how deep you can plant it. In fact, you're going to make the stem down here rot. So just plant it. You know, don't do crazy things. You know, sometimes people are like, why are my plants dying? Well, I don't always know why plants die, but sometimes plants die because you kill them, and that's one of the ways that you can do it. We got these 2 replaced, and we just wanted to show you guys our newish, newly planted and growing privacy screen. And yep, you've got to maintain this thing, and there's work to do on it, and you'll be seeing this in the background of pretty much all of our videos. And we're in the far back corner here, and this goes all the way out to the road. Again, it's 1,016 feet worth of Green Giant Arborvitaes. I guess if you love them, you love them. So guys, if you're going to grow thousands and thousands of plants, you got to have a lot of plant material to get your cuttings from to start those plants, whether it's Green Giants, hydrangeas, blackberry plants, any kind of perennial, any kind of tree, any kind of shrub. And this happens to be our source for plant material. So that's it for today. Thank y'all for watching. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.